Hi guys, my name is Zakari and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about college, the wonderful college experience, because I will be a second year next year after summer, and a lot of people were asking what my first year was like and if there was any tips or tricks as to how it was so fruitful and amazing and all the opportunities were great. So we're going to talk about that today. Number one, how did I pick my major? In case you don't know, I am a theater major and I'm also a communications major with a concentration in journalism. I came to the conclusion that I wanted to be a theater major after being in plays my entire life. I was in the first musical I remember being in was like kindergarten, and I loved it, I guess. I mean, I was like two, but I was really starting to think about it in high school because I was part of my school's theater program. I actually got into Thespian Honor Society. It's pretty cool. But I just loved performing so much. And I was like, I really would love to do this more and maybe a bit more seriously. And people were like, you can do that. And I was like, what? I had no idea I could do that. So that's what I'm doing. Number two, being independent. So I already am a very independent person. I spend a lot of time by myself. I tend to do a lot of stuff by myself. I just work better that way, even though I do love spending time with people. I just also really like my solitude. So when it came to being independent for college, I was honestly chilling. Obviously, there was times I was homesick or felt lonely, but overall, I was pretty chill. It's scary being on your own after living with your parents for 18 years. It's scary. I'm not gonna lie. That first day when I got dropped off after unpacking all my stuff, I just sat there in the quiet because I was like, whoa, I can't just go downstairs and like talk to my family. I'm just by myself. But to combat this, I tried really hard to just make friends immediately. And I actually went door to door on my floor and introduced myself to everybody. And I was like, yeah, my door is that one in case you want to hang out. And surprisingly enough, it worked. I wouldn't recommend telling people your room number because there are some, not great people all the time. But overall, introducing yourself to everybody on the floor, it works. And then everybody was like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Why is everybody knocking on everybody's door? Why is it getting really loud in here? And then boom, now we have a floor party. So take it or leave it. I mean, it works though. Like, yeah. But also, I'm already out of my shell. So I didn't have a lot of trouble when it came to getting out of my shell because I'm already more extroverted in a way. So that was easy for me. But if you're more introverted, I'd say start with one person because, maybe you don't want to meet everybody on the floor at the same time. But, just start with one person and then work your way up. I think when it comes to being independent, it really just depends on the person. Like, I already know how to cook and clean and do my laundry and manage my time. So my parents set me up really well for college in that way. But if you don't know how to do stuff like that, then I'd say that it's going to be a little bit more challenging. It's not hard to learn. It's just going to be more challenging if you don't already know when you go into college. But overall, it's not hard being independent. It's pretty easy. And also, it's honestly better to me. Like, now that I'm home, I'm like, ugh, I just want to go hang out with my friends at 2 a.m. and not have to answer 5 million questions when my mom asks me where I'm going and who I'm going with. Like there's things like that that are definitely an adjustment, like during the summertime or even during winter break. But overall, it's pretty chill. Number three, managing classes. So, first semester, I signed up for 5 classes, but I ended up dropping it to 4 because one of them was just, I could just not. First day, it was super fast paced. It was like super difficult. I was like, I just can't. I just can't. And that's okay. Sometimes you just can't at the time. And it's better, honestly, I think, especially because you have the opportunity to drop the class. I'd say drop it and try again later, or maybe don't because I didn't. But first semester, I was going to double major in business as well as theater, but I ended up switching it to communications because I found out through my 2 business classes that I do not like business. That's why I dropped the first one. I was like, first of all, you're asking me to do all this stuff. You're asking me to buy all of this stuff for one class. I'm not doing that. Like, I already had to buy a new laptop because I have a Mac and they asked us to buy Windows. It was already really expensive. And then they asked us to buy all of this. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Especially because I don't have to do business. I don't have to be a business major. So I'm not going to do that. Dropped it after the first day, never looked back. The other business class, I ended up keeping because For my school, business is a core class. So you have to take at least one business class. So I was like, might as well just get out the way. And it wasn't horrible, but I definitely was like, I'm not built for business. People say it's easy, but the class I was in was honestly really hard. I didn't like it. It was really difficult for me. But also, I'm not really good at math. I'm not bad at math, but I'm not like great at math. So I prefer to do as little math as possible. And unfortunately, in business, there is a lot of math. If you can, and if like first couple of days and you're like, I'm not feeling it, I just don't think I'm well prepared, drop the class. Just drop the class, try again later. It's better than failing. It's better than like stressing out all semester. Like just don't do it. But for me, that business class was the hardest class that I took. First semester, I say start with 4, maybe 5 classes if they're not that difficult or you don't think they'll be that difficult. And then second semester, maybe next year, when you're like, okay, I got the groove of it, maybe start adding on more classes. But also 6 classes doesn't seem like a lot, especially if you're coming from a high school where they have 7 to 8 classes. But 6 college level classes is a lot, especially because you do most of the work outside of class. Like that's something that took me a while to master really because in high school, you come to class, you do the work, and you go home with homework, mostly teaching you more about what you just learned about. But in college, you go to class and you're expected to already have knowledge about the things that you're going to be going over in class. So it's more of a discussion about things you're already supposed to know prior to class. And then you leave and then you do more work by yourself and then come back to discuss that later. Which is like it's a big difference to me. And it took me a while to be like, okay, this is what is going on. Because at first I was just like, I don't know anything at all. Why does everybody else know stuff and I have no idea what's going on? And I realized it's because you're not really learning in class. You're going over it, right? So master that and you've got it. Number 4, making friends. Like I said earlier, it's really easy to make friends in the first couple weeks of school because everybody wants friends and everybody is pretty lonely. But after you've made those friends those first couple weeks of school, it's not likely that you're gonna stay friends unless you try really hard. Because the people you meet the first couple weeks, it's just random people you see like out in the world. But now that you're in your specific like school, like now you have to go out of your way to make friends who aren't in your major. And if you've made those friends that aren't your major, it's going to be hard to keep those friends. Overall, though, I think that it's pretty easy to make friends in college. Everybody wants friends. Even if you're a senior, everybody wants friends. Who doesn't want a new friend, right? I say just be confident and start with an opener. My favorite opener is a compliment. Everybody loves feeling good about themselves. Everybody loves to hear that someone else likes their outfit or their hair or their makeup. Just compliment. And that gives you your opening to then say, hello, my name is, what's yours? And then just get to talking. And honestly, the hardest part is that first conversation because it's a little bit awkward. You don't know them, they don't know you. You're asking all of the boring questions. Oh, what's your name? What's your major? What's your favorite color? And when it's that first like month of school, you're hearing those questions all the time. So you've got to say something they're not going to hear. Another one of my favorite questions is like, would you rather fight 10 horse sized ducks or 20 duck sized horses? Or something like that. Something a little bit strange, a little bit out there that makes them think. And it also reveals a little bit about you because you're kind of silly. Like you're kind of fun, you're kind of cool, kind of out there, right? And that question will then be like, wow, I never really thought about that. Let me give that a think. And now you're talking about a bunch of random hypotheticals and you're having a great time, right? And at the end, when you say, oh, I gotta leave, this was so much fun, let me get your number, right? You gotta close the deal with a way to continue to talk. You can't say, oh, I'll see you around, because you'll never see them again. College campuses are huge. If I went out of my way not to see anybody I know, I could do it. Like, unless you try, you're never gonna see them again. So you gotta make sure that you stay in touch so you can hang out. And I like to invite people over to my dorm a lot because it's like my house. I honestly think of my dorm as my apartment. I'm like, oh, come to my apartment, we can hang out there. And that's also a great opportunity to get to know people without like all of the hustle and bustle of, like the college life. Because if you meet them out, it's gonna be loud. It's gonna be like chaotic. But if you're just talking to them one on one, it's a lot easier. Or if you want to get dinner with them at the dining halls or whatever, you want to go on a walk between classes. There's so many opportunities to get to know people and get to spend time with people at college. You could go to a club meeting together. You could, you know, just go on a walk. I love going on walks at school. It's the best place. You could go to one of those rec centers or like an arcade. There's a lot of stuff on campus to do. So you can just be like, hey, do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? Da 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 da. And boom, you have a new friend. Number 5, being lonely. Unfortunately, it's really easy to feel lonely in college. You're in a new place, you don't have a lot of friends, you're still feeling a little bit awkward trying to navigate the new environment that you're in. And it's very easy to feel lonely. Now, I've already talked about making friends, but sometimes it's really hard to get people to hang out because everyone's schedules are different. Everyone is, studying and trying to do their best in their classes. Some people have extracurriculars and clubs and things like that. So it's really easy to feel lonely. My favorite way of not feeling lonely is genuinely posting it on my story. I'll be like, I'm bored. Anybody want to hang out? And the chances of someone saying yes are higher than you'd think. Because if they just so happen to be done with their work, they're bored, they don't know what to do, they're like, hey, your dorm might be near my dorm. Maybe I do want to hang out. Maybe I want to make a new friend. Maybe I just want to talk to somebody. A lot of people feel the same way that you do. And it's surprisingly easy if like to get people to hang out if they also feel that way. You know, I used to have like movie nights in my dorm, or like, well, it was mostly my friend's dorm actually. But we'd be like, hey, is anybody free to watch a movie tonight? Or does anybody want to do this tonight? Does anybody want to get dinner tonight? Because, everybody's going to get dinner at some point. So why not just go together, right? Things like that. It's really, really easy. So don't feel discouraged if you feel like you're really lonely. You may not have anybody to talk to because I guarantee you, everybody feels that way. Everybody is in the same boat as you. And it may be easier than you think to just ask somebody, "Hey, do you want to hang out?" And they'll probably say yes. So don't be discouraged in that way. In terms of feeling lonely without actually being lonely, this is something I struggle with a lot. Honestly, just in general, it's very easy to feel like people don't see you or really get you because of a variety of things, honestly. But don't feel as if you can't say anything. I think people go without saying stuff a lot. And without saying anything, no one is going to know how you feel. And let's say you have some friends and maybe you're just not getting along like you thought you would, and maybe you're just feeling a little bit left out. It's better to say something. It's always going to be better to speak up and to speak your truth because they might not have any idea that they have been unintentionally making you feel this way, or that you feel this way generally. And once you say something, then it's different. Now it's out there and it's said, and now things can be done, right? And if it is a person making you feel that way, then now they know, and now they can try to change it, right? If it's homesickness, a phone call goes a long way. It really does. Sometimes you just gotta call your parents and be like, "Hey, what you guys doing? Like, what's going on tonight? How's your day been?" And just talk to people. It's really important to talk to people. Isolation gets to a lot of people in college because it's just easy. You just stay in your room, don't talk to anybody, you go to class, you go home, that's it. But making the effort to not isolate yourself is really important because once you start, it's really hard to stop. Like it's really hard to get out of that groove of isolation. So just try to get out of your room, right? Even if you just go on a walk around your dorm, just get out of the room. You're bound to see somebody you could talk to, somebody you could just you know say hi to. So things like that. And also, everybody loves Uno. There's gonna be a rare time where you pull out Uno cards and ask, "Does anybody want to play Uno?" And someone's gonna be like, "No." Everybody's gonna want to play Uno, okay? Especially if there's like a shared common space, and you like say, "Oh, let's go to the common space and play Uno." Everybody loves Uno, right? And a lot of people are also homesick or feeling a little bit left out. So playing Uno with a bunch of strangers What could go wrong? It's gonna be great. It's gonna be awesome, right? Like everything is gonna be great. Number six, failure. So in college and in life, you're gonna fail. It's unfortunately inevitable that something just won't go the way you expect and you're just gonna fail. And there's nothing that can be done. And it sucks. Not gonna lie, it sucks. It sucks balls. It sucks hard. But you gotta sit in your failure. You can't just like, oh, whatever, I failed and I'm just gonna like, whatever. Because you have to process your emotions, right? You're upset, you're disappointed, you're maybe angry, maybe sad. But, and I hate saying this because whenever I hear it, I'm like, ugh, whatever. But everything happens for a reason. And when one door closes, another one opens, right? There was one specific instance that happened freshman year where I auditioned for the musical. And not gonna lie, it was not my best audition. It was just not good. I didn't know auditions were happening until they were. So I had to sign up really quickly. I had no song in mind. I hadn't rehearsed anything. I went in there with like a 40-second cut of a Disney song and I just sang it. I didn't have an accompaniment track. I didn't have a karaoke track. I sang it a cappella because I didn't have time to find anything. And it was not good. It was very, very bad. And the casting people were nice enough to be like, "Oh, that was good." It wasn't good. They were lying to me. It was not good. But I left that audition and I was like, "That was horrible. That was so bad." But unfortunately, failing is a part of literally everything. You're gonna fail before you excel, right? Before you succeed. And for me, like bursting into a ball of flames in that audition, it was actually a very good experience for me because it helped me realize like rejection is it's not that bad. Like it sucks. It sucks. But at the end of the day, you're still alive. You're still breathing. You're still okay. And you're gonna keep being okay, no matter how many times you fail. Because you just gotta get up and do it again. And then I auditioned next semester for the play and I got a great role. Like sometimes you have bad days. Sometimes you have bad test scores. Sometimes you have bad finals. Sometimes you have bad midterms. Sometimes you just have a bad day. And yeah, it sucks. And, maybe you tried really, really hard on this midterm and you were really thinking that you were going to get in there and ace that test. You get your grade back. You got a D minus. You're like, oh my God, what the hell? But at least now you know what you don't know. At least now you know what to study for the final. Like, it sucks and it's really bad. But now you know something new. And maybe you didn't know. Like now I know that I need at least a week in advance to rehearse for an audition. And now that I've been rejected, and I know that it's really not as bad as I think it is, and it's not as bad as I make it up to be in my head. Now, the next time I get rejected, even if it's from a show that I really, really want, an audition I think I did really, really well, I leave the audition and I'm like, wow, that was great. I don't get a part. That's okay. Because, hey, all that time I could have spent in the production, I could now be doing something else, which is exactly what happened to me freshman semester, first semester freshman year. I didn't get into the musical, but I auditioned for a fashion show at my school, and it was great. I did it, and it was amazing. It was one of the best experiences of my first semester. So, when one door closes, another one opens. Number seven. That's a six. Number seven. Parties. Everyone is always talking about, oh, college party this, college party that, frat house this, frat house that, da da da. And most of the time they're right. Okay. I have gone to two frats my freshman year, and one of them I go almost every weekend, and it's my favorite frat. And not gonna lie, that first experience was really, really scary. You hear all the stories, good and bad, about frat houses, and they are all right. They are all correct, unfortunately. A huge house full of a bunch of college boys throwing parties every weekend. Good things can happen and bad things can happen. Unfortunately, this is the world that we live in. Be careful. Never go by yourself. Watch your drink, watch your food if they have it. And if the vibes are off, leave. Always leave. Always leave. Okay? Don't think to yourself, oh, well, maybe they'll get better. Oh, maybe. It's better to leave and nothing happens than you stay and something bad happens. Okay? If you got a gut feeling, don't ignore it, right? Never drink too much, never drink too little, but don't drink too much. And know your tolerance and know your limit. Don't go to a frat house or a party in general and test your limit. Like, it's not like that's something you do with a couple of friends on a Friday night in your dorm rooms. Like, don't go to a public space that you don't know everybody and test your limits there because guarantee you're probably gonna overdo it and then it just won't be good for you or anybody, honestly. So that's that on parties, I think. Honestly, there's not much to say. Like, some parties are good, some parties are bad, and some parties are in between. And bring hand sanitizer to a frat house because, oh my god, some frat houses are held together with termites and a dream. Okay, some frat houses are disgusting. Honestly, almost all frat houses are disgusting. And when you go in that bathroom, just hold your breath and close your eyes. Okay, like it's bad. It's never not gonna be bad, and unfortunately, it's part of the experience. Number 8, finding yourself in college. I think honestly, this one might just be the easiest. I feel like everybody does end up finding themselves in college. Regardless of if it's freshman year, senior year, sophomore year, junior year, you're gonna find yourself. Because college is all about new experiences and trying new things. And it's really easy to stay in your comfort zone because, it's comfortable. But it's better to branch out and find out what you don't like than to never know, I think. And college is a great place to experiment in lots of things. Even finding out the classes that you do or don't like, the extracurriculars you do or don't like, the people that you do or don't like. Finding yourself in college, something that everybody does, and it's honestly something you can't force. It's just something that happens, and you just gotta leave it up to time, really. It's great. I've already found out things that I do and don't like. It's only been a year, and I've already found out these things. So I'm honestly really excited for the future and to see like what I do and don't like later on down the line. I really found out mostly about people I do and don't like. There's lots of things that I tolerated in high school that I just come to the conclusion and decision that I just can't tolerate it anymore. At the end of the day, it's my life and I can't let people ruin it. I can't let people in who are gonna bring a negativity and all that sadness. Like, I'm too whimsical for that. I can't deal with that all the time. So I won't. And honestly, nobody should. And that is the end of our list. I honestly thought I had 10 things on there, but I guess I only had 8, which is fine. 8 things is perfect. And I really hope that this video ended up helping people who are going to college or maybe already in college and they just are still trying to figure things out because, hey, there's always something new to figure out. But I really hope that it helped you guys. And thank you so much for watching. If you have any other video ideas, please leave them in the comment section. Please like and subscribe and do all of those amazing things. And I will see you in the next video. Mwah! Bye, guys.